Grand Theft Auto 5 came out in 2013, and a lot of what it did better than anything else at the time, but some of it was already looking old on the day it shipped. 12 years on, it's really showing. So these are 8 things that game genuinely got wrong, and what Rockstar has actually shown us about whether the 6th one is going to fix any of them. I'll be straight about which is which as we go. Confirmed here means Rockstar published it. Everywhere else, I'm reading the same trailers you are, and I'll say so when that's what's happening. The first one is the police, and it breaks the illusion faster than anything else in that game. The cops in 5 don't know where you were last seen, they know where you are. You can duck into an empty alley with nobody watching, and a squad car still comes around the corner 4 seconds later, like somebody radioed it in. The frustrating part is that Rockstar already solved this. In Red Dead 2, back in 2018, somebody has to actually see you do it before anyone comes looking. And if nobody sees it, nothing happens. Now, have Rockstar said a single word about the wanted system in 6? Not one. But they've shipped a smarter version of it once already in a game that came out after 5, and I'd be surprised to see them walk that back. The second one is doors that don't open, which is the polite way of saying that most of Los Santos was a painting. The city looked enormous and almost none of it was real. Shops you couldn't enter, houses that were just geometry, and maybe a dozen usable interiors in a place meant to hold millions of people. And this is one where I can point at something instead of speculating. Go through the screenshots Rockstar have put out, and you'll find the inside of a diner, a club, a gym, a strip mall, all of it in the official marketing. That isn't proof every door in Leonida opens, but you don't lead your press screenshots with interiors unless you want people looking hard at the interiors. The third one is switching, where 5 had a genuinely great idea and then wasted it over about 60 hours. 3 characters, 1 wheel, swap whenever you like. For the first 10 hours, that's brilliant. Then it quietly becomes a fast travel button. You flick to Franklin because he's parked closer to the mission, not because you want to be Franklin. 6 has 2 of them, Jason and Lucia, and the word Rockstar keeps using for the pair is partners, which is a story word rather than a mechanics word. So can you swap whenever you feel like it, or only inside certain missions, or never at all outside the cutscenes? Nobody actually knows. And it's probably the biggest open question about how this game moves minute to minute. The fourth one is money. Or more precisely, money that stops meaning anything about 2/3 of the way through. By the back end of 5's story, you're sitting on hundreds of millions with nothing worth buying, so the economy just stops. You pull the big score, the number goes up, and after that, it's decoration. Red Dead dealt with that by keeping you broke for most of the running time, so small amounts of money actually mattered. Whether 6 does anything like it, I genuinely don't know. And neither does anyone telling you they do. The fifth one is that nobody in Los Santos actually lives anywhere. Every pedestrian spawns in front of you and deletes itself behind you, so there's no home, no job, no shift that ends. There's scenery that happens to walk. And once again, Rockstar fixed this 7 years ago. Red Dead's townspeople have routines, the shopkeeper opens the shop in the morning, and people remember what you did to them last time you were in town. The 6 screenshots are stuffed with crowds, beaches, clubs, a wrestling cage, a queue outside somewhere at night. Whether those people have lives or just faces is honestly the thing I most want to find out. Number 6 is the weapon wheel, which in Grand Theft Auto 5 is frankly a cartoon. You're carrying a rocket launcher, a sniper rifle, a minigun, and a golf club all at the same time in a t-shirt. And not one character in the entire game ever remarks on it. Red Dead made you choose what went on your horse and what went on your back. And that one restriction changed how you approached everything, because leaving the right gun behind was a real mistake you could make and then have to live with. The 7th one is cars that don't really care what you do to them. Put a supercar into a concrete wall at 100 miles an hour, and you'll come away with a dented panel, reverse out of it, and carry on to the next objective like nothing happened. I'm not asking for a driving simulator. It's Grand Theft Auto. The cars are supposed to be ridiculous. But there's an enormous amount of room between a scratch and a write-off, and 5 almost never used any of it. And the 8th one is the one I care about more than the other 7 put together. Single-player story expansions for 5 were announced and talked about, and then they simply never arrived. So 12 years on, the story you finished in 2013 is still the whole story. Because online made more money than any of it ever could. Now, this is the part where Rockstar have actually published something. Their own store listing describes Grand Theft Auto 6 as a single player experience. Those words on their page. That doesn't promise story expansions, and it doesn't rule out an online either. But after 12 years of watching single player get quietly pushed down the list, seeing them lead with that phrase is not nothing. The ninth one is the one that actually went backwards, which is the physics. Grand Theft Auto 4 in 2008 had bodies that fell like bodies and cars that crumpled like cars. You could clip a lamppost at speed and the whole front end would fold. And your character would go through the windscreen properly. 5 sanded a lot of that off. Everything got a bit more rubbery and a bit more forgiving, and a game made 5 years later somehow felt less physical than the one before it. Now the 6 trailers do show people stumbling and reacting in ways that look closer to 4 than to 5, and that's a real thing you can watch rather than a rumor. But 2 trailers isn't a physics system, and I'm not going to pretend I can tell from footage. And the 10th one is what there is to actually do when you're not doing a mission. 5 give you golf, tennis, darts, and a cinema, and after about a week, that's the whole list. The world is enormous, and there's almost nothing in it that isn't a story beat or a collectible. This is the other place where I can point at published material instead of guessing. Because in the official screenshots, you can see a pool table, jet skis, a gym, cage fighting, a strip club, and somebody fishing. None of that tells you how deep any of it goes, and a screenshot of a pool table isn't a promise that you can play pool. But that's a longer list of things to do than 5 shipped with. And it's all in Rockstar's own marketing. And this is the one I'd actually bet on them getting right, because Red Dead already proved they know how to build a world you want to just exist in. Fishing in that game isn't a mini game with a menu. It's a thing you do because the lake looked nice on the way past. If 6 carries any of that across, then the map stops being a set of roads between mission markers and starts being somewhere you actually spend time. And honestly, that matters more to me than any single feature on this list. So that's the 10. And if you were keeping score, you'll have noticed how few are actually answered. The interiors I'll give you. The screenshots show them. The single player wording is real. It's on the store page right now. Everything else is Rockstar having solved the problem once in a different game, and me assuming they still remember how. Which is about the honest state of GTA 6 at the minute. 4 minutes of trailer footage, 70 odd screenshots, and 1 store page, and a long wait until November. So, if there's one on that list you reckon they'll manage to get wrong anyway, tell me which one it is, because I'll be reading them.